Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Elder Scrolls Readings. This is Fool's Ebony, Book 1 by Friendships. Concerning priests and Knuckles is related at length by two priests of Akatosh to the adventurer, who at the time was not having an adventure, had nothing better to do, in which some probably unwanted light is shed upon the priesthood and its members, and upon an old peasant myth of some significance, especially common in High Rock, and in which the mysterious Fool's Ebony appears. That strange material that could bring either drastic cultural change for the many, or just great profit for a few, or death for a bunch, or have no result whatsoever. Daggerfall and environs in the doldrums of the Third Era. Early in the month of Frostfall, the dead Daedra Inn enter prologue. Our poor players will try and remember their lines and not trip over our meager set. I beg you, the audience, not to heckle, badger, or throw rotten foodstuffs. You will only make this short play last longer. The Guild of Playwrights, Actors, and Dramatists wish any of you who are sensitive or allergic to rambling dialogue, wooden acting, incomprehensible exposition, or unsatisfying endings that leave one confused and unhappy to exit the theater immediately. Your gold will alas not be refunded. As a saving grace, this series of vignettes contain gratuitous references to all pleasures of the flesh. You may enjoy it. Here comes our hero now. The roguish dark elf called the Adventurer. It is time for the prologue to trip merrily away. Exit prologue. Enter the Adventurer. What an odd conversation I just heard between those two mages. It is best not to speak of such matters next to privy hedges. Enter two priests of Akatosh, Laban and Kamon. Mind if we join you, fellow? Good. Need some company ourselves. I am named Laban, my fellow priest here is Kamon. We both serve Akatosh, all in our own ways, of course. Make yourselves at home. It's not my bench, but I thought that priest didn't go to places like this. Ends, I mean. Unless on duty. Oh, we're not on duty. Got to regenerate our internal vital energies so we can go on blessing and curing. We often come here, hike up our robes, kick up our heels, as it were, fill up on some bottled energy. Looking for those in need of comfort and blessing, of course. Oh, yes. Like that young girl outside the other evening. And anyway, our high priest told us to get lost. He told us to get some air. We've been having visions, you see. Yeah, it's sort of weird, really, and we hadn't even been taking any of that. Ow. Both of us have been having the same visions. Real odd. Oh, do tell. I'm not going anywhere in a hurry. Well, we've both been hearing sort of words for a start, like Sernich or Saynak. You said Nick or Knack? Just a minute. Let me have a swig from your bottle. Brother, that's better. High-class stuff you fellows drink. Yes, I recall some story or old legend about an elf, name of Knuckle, I think. From Morrowind? Oh, you know. Well, maybe you're onto something there. There's an old legend around these parts. Comes from deep in High Rock, I think. Knuckles, that's it. Knuckles, huh? Seems that several dark elves use that name, particularly the more peculiar ones. Yes, I guess that the bad ones are into all the weapons, magicka stuff. Very nasty fellows. Common, this fellow's got pointy ears and red eyes. Oh, pardon me, friend. It's sort of dark, and I didn't, Oh, that's fine. These are strange times, you know. Live and let live, or die, as the case may be. Now, suppose you tell me about this Knuckles myth. Here, let me help you with that bottle. Thanks. Sure. If you want to put it that way, here, have another swig. Sure, we've got the time, and I recall it clearly now. Yes, we got a couple hours until that little blonde shows up at her lamp. Ouch! Quiet! Remember, we had to tell the high priest her address, so she won't be around for a while. Very well. Here's the story, best as I can recall it. This is the tale the peasants up in High Rock tell their kids to scare them into being good for a while, I guess. They tell it, let me see, either on Tales and Tallows or is it Witches' Festival? Just before the kids are sent out to the barn or pigsty to sleep. Nasty, cruel peasants, but then I'd send them all out to the midden. Really common. Remember, those poor souls need our compassion and blessing. We are their salvation. Now, who's in the old high mucky muck study? Anyway, it goes a little bit like this. If the kids had been real good during the year, filched enough in the market, mucked out the stables every day, not gone playing with goblins, let the sheep alone, and so on, if they have been real good, they've nothing to worry about. But if they haven't been real good, then there is this nasty, horrid dark elf spirit called Knackles. Doesn't look like your typical dark elf. Thinner, taller, pasty white face, long as your arm, walks like his knees and elbows bend the wrong way, snickers like when you drag your fingernails across slate, wears a tight black suit, not kind of jeed, but more like a formal suit with buttons. But too tight and small. He visits the bad girls and... Why are you talking about old high mucky again, Laban? You must really excuse Common here. Overwork, you know. Too many curings and conversions. Anyways, old nasty Knackles is supposed to wander under our Tamriel in dirty, deep, dark dwarven tunnels. Everywhere under the lands, if you can believe that, rides in a rusty, squeaky old minecart or on old mine tracks. Oh, I saw some of those in Fang Lair once, down in Hammerfell a long time ago. What the Sheer-Gorath was he doing in Fang Lair? Hush. If he's who I think he is, you do not want to know. Yes, well, Knackles gets pulled all around these deep tunnels by goblins, not your usually dirty yellow ones, but the nasty black things. Anyway, they pull Knackles round and through these dark tunnels, and then late at night he stops below each and every bad child's hovel or house or castle. Makes no difference. Then he slides up the drainage pipes, creeps up cracks, crawls through holes, oozes up oubliettes, climbs giggling up gander robes, right into the kids' place. Then, if the kid's only been sort of bad, Knackles will just mess things up in general. So the kids get blamed, make greasy dirty marks everywhere, more than usual anyway, break some things, steal some things, so on and so forth. Maybe take the sugar sweets, leave some lumps of Fool's Ebony instead. Fool's Ebony? Now what's that? Heard mention of that a few hours ago, some mages. Oh, you did now? Interesting. Very well. Well, let's talk of that in a bit. Let me just finish this Knackles thing. Where was I? Oh, yes. Now, if the little brat has been real bad, then all the little brat's toys get taken. The copper dagger, the wooden sword, the little whip, and so on. All the usual favorite kids things. Whips? I like those. Now, if that little brat has been very, very bad, then Knackles grabs the brat, pops him or her in his dirty great sack, and hauls the sack off down the holes and cracks down his rusty old minecart, and away they go. Hope he leaves some of the bad little girls behind. So we can save them, of course, friend. Well, sometimes, so I've heard tell the brat never comes back. No great loss, I guess. The peasants just breed another. Know about that, I do. But as the story goes round here anyway, often the brat is just put to work, digging out lumps of Fool's Ebony, shoveling dirt, bagging it, and extending the tunnels of the Knackles. After a while, brat is pushed back up to where it came from, since the brat might think it's spent a year down there, but only a day has passed up top. Brat comes back real thin and dirty, though covered in black mess. You know, come to think of it, on the day past Witches' Festival, I often seen some little brats, scrawny, real dirty black mess on them, looking terrified too. Parents drag them into the temples to get blessed and cured. If they have the gold, by the beards of sheer Gorath, the wailing and noise enough to drive a priest to... Well, never mind, that's our problem. Nah, it's a problem with our suppliers, I tell you. Anyway, that's the short of it. This Knuckles legend around here, I recall now, it's widespread all over Tamriel. And knowing the place, probably more than a grain of truth in the tale, much, much more. So I guess some of the darker dark elves sort of identify with this Knuckles, take on the persona, so to say. Yeah, that sort of sums it up, I guess. Though we don't see those types hauling off brats in sacks now, do we? No, that's what we does. Girly brats, anyway, isn't it not? Well, that's a very interesting tale, gentlemen. Let me repay you with another bottle. What's that you're drinking? Thought so. Innkeep, more holy wine for these holy men. A blessing on you for that kind gesture, friend. I thank you. I surely could use one of the, or three. Anyway, this fool's Ebony. I've heard mutters and murmurs about that of late. Mostly eavesdropping, pardon me, listening to, mages and the like. What's with this stuff? Here, have another swig. Good. Well, we're not supposed to tell outsiders, but then you seem to know something already, and if you have been hearing mage gossip, well, why, maybe we can do some business. Profit all around. Well, for the Akatosh Chantry, of course, and your fee, good sir. More and more interesting. Tell on, I pray you. Time for me to go convert that little lamppost girl. No, not last night's one, but the blonde. Ah! So there's a female squeal off stage, so there you go. Friend, you'll have to excuse Common. He's a bit, strange. Got these... Oh, that's all right. We've all got our own. Epilogue. Our apologies for the quality of this drama so far. If those of you still present will wait for a few minutes while our bard plays Silence Implies Consent. Damn. This is not aged well. We will change this set for the next act, part the 12th. Please don't forget to tip your wench. Do you believe there's such a thing as Fool's Ebony? Maybe we'll find out in part the 12th. Or maybe not. End of part the 1th. Being mostly concerned with the legend of Knuckles. Have an awesome day and a good night. I imagine this is going to be the thing that if people pop in or like, oh my god, I kind of want to see how horrid it goes.